Story 1. I cannot speak for women since they operate under a different set of social rules. But for men, yes. Letting yourself get walked over all the time often does not lead to a great life. The flip side of that is many of the people labeling themselves as nice guys are not really nice. They are putting on a front and have ulterior motives, expecting that acting like a nice guy will get them what they want. Story 2. I would rather be a kind person finishing last than someone unpleasant. Turns out that when you reach the end of your life, there is no podium anyway. Story 3. To me, it is more that people who do not take initiative, are not confident, do not seize the day, and are afraid to reach for what they want in life finish last. Those who are timid, passive, and complacent. It is not that literally being kind will make you finish last. People do like kind, compassionate, and empathetic people, at least the kind of people you want to be close to in life do. Now, the way we have set up society, it does unfortunately reward people who are willing to exploit others and step on people's backs monetarily. But you end up surrounded by the same type of people. If you are ruthless, uncompassionate, and self-absorbed, you are not going to attract good people. You are going to attract people who only care about themselves and money. There is a happy middle ground between being ambitious and being ruthless. You still want to care about the well-being of your fellow humans. Once you stop caring about anyone but yourself, you are no longer a good person. No longer the type of person that good people want to be around. Story 4. Yes, for the most part, especially for men, nicer men tend to be a bit more passive, less assertive, more cautious, take fewer risks, and earn fewer rewards. I also think the phrase has been adopted by people who are not genuinely nice and who have ulterior motives but pretend to be kind. Story 5. Doormats finish last, especially if you are a man. There is always a time and place to advocate for yourself and put yourself first. It is not mutually exclusive with being a nice and good person. Story 6. You can be kind without being taken advantage of. I have a philosophy of giving people the benefit of the doubt and believing them when they show me who they are. It has been working well for me so far. Story 7. Most chief executive officers, politicians, lawyers, and top medical professionals tend to have traits of the dark triad in psychology. This is not unusual at all. You do not survive long without it. This was illustrated well in the drama House of Cards. Humans have been attracted to the darker side of things from the beginning of time, largely because it is our nature. We might wish we were better than we are, but we know what we are. Nice guys deserve the best. Nice guys deserve all the good things life has to offer. I wish the world had more nice guys in it. I am a woman. Story 8. If being kind means being a doormat, then yes. If kindness includes having healthy boundaries and the ability to say no when necessary, then no. As for being attracted to things that are not good for you, it is unresolved childhood issues. Parental issues, false beliefs created in childhood and not challenged since, all of that can create a tendency to self-sabotage. Story 9. Nice can be many things. You can be outspoken and have good self-confidence and still be a nice person. Such people are normally not losers. Story 10. It is not about attraction. Successful people in corporate and politics demonstrate dark triad tendencies. Story 11. No. Nice people do not finish last. They are not even invited to join the actual race. They are relegated to the spectator section near the finish line, where they are supposed to feel honored for the invitation to enthusiastically praise the person who finally finishes running, comes over to them all sweaty and exhausted, and is ready to sit down to rest. Story 12. The average person has a lot of childhood trauma they are not ready to address. Their parents taught them that love means being treated poorly, shouted at, and constant fighting. If you want to date a mature, stable person, you lose access to about 80% of the dating pool. Therefore, people who want a healthy relationship generally take the longest to find one. Story 13. I am a nice person who most of the time puts other people's well-being over my own. It has not turned out very well for me. On the other hand, it has given me a lot of joy helping others. That being said, it is easy for people to take advantage of it. Story 14. I think most of the nice guy or nice girl types have legitimate grievances but blame the wrong people. When I was 18 to 22, I also struggled with it. When you are young, you often get told that you need to do or accomplish specific things to get a partner or start a family. Once you reach dating age, you realize that is only a small part of the truth. You do those things to have a nice and stable life, to allow you to build something good. But it does not guarantee that someone is going to join you in that. Especially when you are younger, people are attracted to other things. The problem with the nice guys or nice girls is that they blame their contemporaries, the people in the dating pool, not the people who taught them these wrong things or set the wrong expectations. We should teach kids and teens to get good jobs and be good people for themselves, to have a good life and not to expect someone to magically make their life great. That is not going to happen. I mean, do not get me wrong, having the right partner is magical, it is great, but it is not going to fix everything wrong with a life you did not want or that you just scraped together to get them. Story 15. I am just past the age where I really care about gratification. I realized money can buy happiness. I have plenty of time to do what I want. I do not answer to anybody except those who matter. Life is less complicated than I made it out to be when I was young. It just hits you out of nowhere. Story 16. More like, nice guys never finish. You have to have a bit of edge and fight your corner or else you will never get anything. It does not mean you have to go full psycho, but just stand up to the people who think they can push you around metaphorically. Story 17. Yes, I am a living testament to that. I was raised to be a gentleman, and now I am in my late 20s and have never had my first kiss or seriously dated anyone. Story 18. A lot of factors shape this. In the end, you have to look at your values. What is important? We are constantly overexposed by social media to unrealistic expectations and wants. Story 19. Nobody tells you why this is. I am going to explain it to you and save you decades of pointlessness. The reason nice guys finish last is that the last person they are nice to is themselves. See how this changes if you commit to reversing it. Come back in a month with results. Story 20. There's got to be some kind of middle ground between them. If you're too nice, you'll never act in your own self-interest, and that typically will hurt you. As for why people are attracted to things that aren't good for them, why do people drink and smoke? It's fun. In the beginning, chaotic, toxic people are usually really fun. I used to be that guy, untreated bipolar disorder. I was self-centered and got into too many fights over nothing. But I did the things other people just talked about doing. I took a lot of risks, and sometimes they paid off. People think that's fun at first, until they realize you genuinely are a wreck and your chaos starts interfering with their life, at which point they usually shut you out. Being an asshole does not lead to success because it feels bad and makes you very lonely. However, it becomes a vicious cycle because the only way you know to get people interested in you is to be that person. Story 21. Nice is boring. On one hand, let's say you have a plate of unseasoned rice, beans, and a raw green vegetable. On the other, you have a juicy cheeseburger and fries. Which are you picking most days? Story 22. I do because if you do not view the world as competition, then you will always be a pawn in someone else's game. Story 23. Why are people attracted to things that are not good for them? Because those things give quick satisfaction. Take fast food or drugs. Neither is good for you. Sometimes nice people are not even in the race. Earlier life experiences put them off. If you mean the online form definition of a nice person, then it is better that they have some spiritual awakening before they even enter the race. Story 24. From what I have seen, being nice or being horrible has nothing to do with it. It is discipline and perseverance. It is about looking for opportunities and not giving up when you fail or have to try something else. I have met some awesome people who were the boss or the supervisor and were fairly young. I have also met some awful people in the same positions. I see both types of people excel in several aspects of life. But for me, I would rather not be around the horrible people. They drain you if there is an opportunity to do so. One other aspect that might be worth knowing is the social dynamics of playing the system. For those who are not genuinely kind, they know who to flatter to get noticed and promoted, while showing their true colors to those they consider worthless and not a threat. One difference between nice people and jerks, though, is that if you fall, nice people have others to help you get back up. Jerks are alone and fall harder. Story 25. Yes, but only because it aligns with what I have observed. There are a few reasons why. People with poor emotional awareness do not experience the emotional burden when approaching women. They will approach women without concern, enabling them to approach more women. Society values narcissism and sociopathic traits, so these characteristics are often seen as positive rather than negative. Story 26. Yes. Because nice people let themselves get taken advantage of because they are too concerned with hurting someone's feelings. It is more important to be good, and to be good requires one to be willing to hurt some feelings if it is necessary. To be good requires strength and integrity. Story 27. Absolutely do, but you should not be nice. You should do what is best for you, and that is the issue with many nice people. You cannot always put others ahead of yourself. Being selfish gains you self-respect and respect from others. Trying to be nice to your friends when you clearly do not want to do something puts you last. Putting your crush on a pedestal makes you last. Doing your job above and beyond with no compensation or real reward makes you last to be promoted if at all. It is okay to be selfless, but only at your convenience. Story 28. I believe it because I have lived it. I am 53 this year, by the way, and it is 100% the truth. Always the respectful person, always someone who would never cheat, rarely starting a fight. I compromise, care, and try my best to listen. I have been dropped for people who literally beat up the women I knew. I just have to be calm about it. If nice people finish last, I will accept that and stay the course. I am not going to play games or be someone I am not for the sake of someone else's hunger for drama or need for chaos. Story 29. I believe there is a time and a place for everything. You catch more flies with honey, but if you think that even the nicest people are not inherently predisposed to care about themselves more than you, life just has not kicked you hard enough yet. Story 30. I used to believe that because it was a popular saying growing up, but now that I have experienced many years, I do not see it. Nice men and women will eventually find what they are looking for faster and be more satisfied with overall life. I know many bad men and women who are still dealing with struggles in their personal lives and relationships. This also shows that the phrase nice men and women finish last is just a phrase because if that were true, we would also hear the phrase bad men and women finish first. But we do not. They prefer to spread the more exciting phrase, bad men and women have more fun. Story 31. It depends on what you are talking about. For me personally, when it comes to just sex, I would be with someone I dislike if they were attractive. It's probably similar with women. When it's just sex, personality does not matter. When it comes to relationships, it is likely people wanting their cake and to eat it too. They are looking for the bad boy with a heart of gold. Secondly, you need to clarify what you mean by nice guys. Are we talking about normal men or mean men? I think regular men who happen to be nice do not finish last. I think men who believe acting nice should get them a partner do finish last. Story 32. I used to be a very nice, generous person when I was younger. It led to a lot of people distrusting me, thinking I had ulterior motives. It attracted people who wanted to use me, and they were emotionally abusive. Some people, after harboring really negative views and distrust, would realize that I was actually just a nice person and would come to me and apologize for how they treated me, explaining that it seemed too good to be true. After a while, I figured out two things. First, when you don't express your own wants and desires, people lose respect for you and tend to assume the worst. Second, women especially will see you as boring or just a friend because you don't challenge them or excite them by being gentle and nice all the time. So I decided to be more selective with whom I was generous, to call out people who are manipulative mooches, to express what I wanted, and to include an occasional risky joke and challenge the women I dated. This worked really well, but there is definitely a balance to be had. Not all challenges are met with amusement or respect, but usually the people who take offense take themselves too seriously and have inflated egos. This is kind of a good thing sometimes, basically the trash taking itself out. There are times, though, when I have gone too far and entered asshole territory, but more so with jokes than actual actions, so I don't feel too bad. Although there are times I miss my former self and wish I could just be a nice guy again. If only it actually worked out. Anyhow, just my 2 cents. Story 33. Nobody finishes last because they are kind. It is usually other factors that cause issues, yet people assume being kind is the problem. Sometimes women pursue a man who is unpleasant, but it is because he is physically attractive, not because of his unpleasant behavior. If you take the same physically attractive man and have him be kind, he will achieve equally good, if not better, results. By kind, I mean genuinely kind, not a yes man or an exaggerated version of kindness. My first girlfriend told me the main reasons she found me attractive were my friendliness and optimistic, energetic attitude. Most people describe me as very kind because I am willing to help and generally get along well with others. This has always been a positive trait for me. Story 34. There is a world of difference between nice guys and nice girls and where they finish. I won't comment on nice girls finishing anywhere because I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. But nice guys absolutely do finish last. Before I met my wife, I was the poster boy for nice guys. Very respectful of women, very concerned that I would make them uncomfortable, always taking things very slow. I tried to build a connection with women before moving on to romantic involvement. It was miserable for my self-esteem, my mental state, and virtually everything. I had some girlfriends, but it was always very slow and never amounted to much. I got friend-zoned a few times. The last one made me realize that being a nice guy was like Charlie Brown kicking the football. I did a mental cleanse and decided I would give women the option of being part of what I want or being gone. No more pussyfooting around with feelings. The number of women interested in me skyrocketed. From that moment on, I was never without a girl for more than a week. Eventually, I found my wife, told her what I wanted, and she was it every time. She still jokes to this day that I had a list of requirements she had to meet for me to keep her, and she spent the first 2 years making sure to meet them all. I don't know if I did or not. I didn't think I did, and it was never written down or anything. But I turned my entire life around with that epiphany. I was never a bad guy. I never did anything actually wrong, but I made it very clear that I wanted what I wanted and expected to get it. It was always the woman's choice if she wanted to be part of it or not. I think that confidence and the idea that women had to work to get me and to keep me was really attractive to them, like I was some kind of prize they deserved. Story 35. I believe boring people finish last if they finish at all. Nothing to do with being nice or kind, or rude or inconsiderate. Throughout my life, I saw nice people succeed and fail, and I saw unpleasant people succeed and fail. If you make yourself interesting and do not accept disrespect, people flock around you. Story 36. Absolutely not. Ignoring the nice guy trope, actual nice guys are well respected among most women. People are diverse. Different people want different qualities in different partners. Making a blanket statement like that is evidence of an immature and defeated mentality. If people don't like you for who you are, then you are with the wrong people. Alternatively, do some introspection and be honest with yourself. Is your attitude the problem? When you are being nice, are you really being nice, or is it a transparent attempt at garnering favor from someone you find attractive? The sad truth is that most people do judge a person by their appearance. You are much less likely to get a chance with someone when you are being nice if you are less physically attractive most of the time. So if you make it obvious that the nice thing you are doing is a poorly hidden attempt to make a move on someone who does not find you attractive, you will get a fairly negative response most of the time. But I am living proof that being a nice guy who is respectful can get a date, get engaged, and be married for 14 years and counting. I also have plenty of friends who respect me. So do not let that defeatist attitude keep you down. Story 37. A long time ago, a person told me she thought I was a nice guy, but then condescendingly said, "Too bad nice guys finish last." I think she was trying to say that she would have been interested in me if I were a player. Regardless, it is important to point out that people who are kind to others do not actually finish last because they have different values and goals for what they want to achieve in life. I would consider myself a failure if the way I advanced in life was by being unpleasant. Story 38. I don't believe in it. I would say I am a nice person and have never had issues dating or being intimate. If you do not show your intentions until they put you in the friend zone or do not appear attractive to the other person, that is not because you are nice. People are attracted to attractive individuals. A person with a bad attitude who looks good will get more partners than a good person who looks unattractive, but fewer than a good person who looks good. Most of the nice guys I know are overweight, have unexciting hobbies, and just being nice does not make people want to be intimate with you. Story 39. I think the implication is that they let others win, not that they are incapable of winning. Hence, it is considerate of them to finish last. It seems the meaning of the phrase got distorted and became a lament instead of advice, as in let her win, be nice kind of advice. I also believe it originated from the idea of manners and that we should put other people's feelings before our own to teach society not to be rude. However, this meaning appears to have been lost. Story 40. I believe this is true for multiple reasons, one of which is maturity. Some people mature faster and choose what is best for them in the long run, while others learn the hard way by making many mistakes. They think short-term, and some never learn. Another reason is that women may choose partners more freely when they are young and attractive, but as they get older and less desirable, they often have to settle and choose a kind partner. Additionally, many kind men believe that being nice alone attracts women, but that is not true. You are only truly kind when you have the power not to be, yet still choose the right thing. If a billionaire, handsome, charming, and intelligent man is kind, he will attract partners because he can easily be unkind but chooses not to. Story 41. No, not at all. Unintelligent people finish last. There is being nice and there is letting people walk all over you. A kind person can still stand up for themselves, respect themselves, and make decisions that benefit themselves. Be the kindest person you can, but do not be afraid to burn bridges to protect yourself and the ones you care about. Story 42. I do not believe it. Surely some unethical people succeed, but that does not mean that being nice is ever a detriment. Story 43. Yes, they often do finish last, but who decided that finishing last is a failure? We are all drawn to what we find appealing. The difference is that some are fortunate in return, while others are not. Story 44. People who think that are just bitter opportunists who see genuinely nice men getting women and believe they have to be doormats or people pleasers to achieve the same. They are incapable of being genuinely decent themselves without expecting some sort of reward for it. They tried once, but the woman they were interested in sensed their desperation or creepiness and was put off. Now, to soothe their bruised pride, they tell themselves these things so they do not have to admit they failed due to their own social inadequacies. Story 45. No. People mistake being kind for being a doormat. I guess being kind prevents you from playing dirty to win and taking advantage of others, so it has drawbacks. People are not attracted to things that are not good for them, but a lot of times they are drawn to them in spite of that. Story 46. There is a difference between being a nice person and being a doormat. Nice people do what they believe is right with strong conviction. A doormat lets others walk all over them and lacks conviction in their beliefs. Story 47. As always, it depends on what people mean by nice. Kindness and respect go a long way in life, but do not forget that those things should be a two-way street. Respectful behavior needs to be reciprocal. Story 48. People misconstrue being nice with being weak. Being nice. Hey boss, I know you said I'm getting a 2% raise this year, but my review said I hit the top rating in every category. The review form says that equates to a 5% raise. We need to talk about making that 5% happen. Being weak. Accepting the 2% raise and not saying anything. Also, being nice. Taking your girlfriend out for a romantic dinner on Valentine's Day. Being weak. Paying all of the bills from your paycheck while your live-in girlfriend spends her paycheck on whatever she wants. Also, being nice. Hey server, I asked for a medium cook on my steak, and this is well done. Can I please have the chef cook me a new one? Being weak. Just eating the steak you were brought, even though it's wrong. It's not that nice people finish last. It's that weak people finish last. Story 49. Yes. Too good is unnerving and difficult to trust. It gives impressions of creepiness, desperation, and similar feelings, so our gut instinct is to avoid that person. On the other hand, bad tends to be exciting. It gets your blood rushing, your adrenaline pumping, and your mind fixating on far more than what is for dinner. Story 50. Yes, it is all about vibes. You have it or you do not, and I do not believe it can be taught. For what it is worth, trying to be a good person has only ever held me back in attempts to date. People really do not care if you are a good person or not when their brain is deciding if it is attracted to you. Story 51. I think kind men and women are too busy helping elderly ladies cross the street to notice that everyone else is moving ahead quickly. Story 52. I think it is mostly an artifact of the fact that people are attracted to confidence and an abundance mindset, which is good. It is just also easily hackable because it is easy to be that way if you are just very thoughtless. In other words, nice folks do not finish last. Fire Festival just gets investments from unwise people. Story 53. While obviously taking into account the dangers of arrogance and over-assertiveness, I have found the phrase "do not mistake passivity for a virtue" to be rather apt. Story 54. I'd revise it to "weak guys finish last." Weakness is often presented as niceness, and niceness is often mistaken for weakness. You can be nice, kind, and respectful until someone disrespects you or your personal boundaries without being weak. You can be confident and strong without being mean or arrogant. Those types of people are the ones who finish first in my experience. Story 55. No, it is less about politeness and more about shyness. There are some very nice people who are competitive and outgoing. Shyness tends to be confused with politeness and kindness, but the two are distinctly different attributes. Story 56. I have moved away from the victim mentality that this phrase suggests and updated it to "no good deed goes unpunished." Story 57. Polite and nice are not the same thing. Polite is how you curry favor with the public and show that you are well-mannered and mean no harm. Nice is how you get walked over because nice does not set boundaries. For example, I always thank service workers and find it distasteful when someone tries to use their position of service against them. At the same time, if a service worker is not meeting the basic expectations of their role, I will demand that my expectations are met until I am satisfied with the outcome, politely but firmly. Story 58. Nice guys do not finish last. Those who are pushovers lack common sense and make poor choices do. Those who are authentically nice easily attract and date those who are functional and compatible. If one is continually experiencing no success in an area of their life, they need better self-awareness and accountability for their choices. Story 59. I don't think women are generally attracted to unpleasant men. However, I have seen enough anecdotal evidence to conclude that many women will overlook bad behavior because they are attracted to other qualities in a man. As long as certain criteria are met, men can get away with some wild behavior. I think that is where the whole "can someone convince my boyfriend to maintain basic hygiene at least once a week?" sentiment comes from. Story 60. Yes. It is not about being nice. It is about not pursuing things aggressively. If you are working and think that not competing with coworkers for a promotion makes you the nice person, you will lose. If you think being a nice guy while the girl is dating another guy who takes the initiative and initiates intimacy first, you will lose. Story 61. I view life as a team sport. A group of us move through life together, watching each other's backs and helping each other when needed. Story 62. Nice guys finish last, yes. Nice gals finish last. Never heard that. In general, I would say being nice is not something that actually impacts where they finish. Why are people not attracted to nice guys? Some are, but finishing last is more of a position in life, not only in the dating scene. Niceness is related to a general lack of aggressiveness, and the world is tailored to favor the aggressive, the risk-takers, and the players. People who are favored are usually more successful, richer, and more confident. People are attracted to that. Story 63. I guess it is right the way it is meant. Nice guys are either pushovers or they are people who pretend to be nice. In reality, I think an actual nice person does not finish last. You can be a respectful, kind person who is not a pushover and who is genuine, and I completely do not believe you finish last. Source me. Story 64. Read Finite and Infinite Games by James P. Carse. There is no denying the competitive nature underlying work and relationships. It is a natural phenomenon. You can win a chess game. You can win a football game. These are finite games. But you cannot win relationships. You cannot win software development. You cannot win at life. These are infinite games. Nice guys finish last is a finite-minded adage that is useless in an infinite game. The goal of a finite game is to win according to predetermined rules. The goal of an infinite game is to continue playing as long as possible. Story 65. Yes, if you truly are kind. There is also a difference between kind and good. This mostly applies to men. Women do not face the same challenges. If someone downplays men's challenges, they are part of the problem. Story 66. No. I believe that a person being walked all over is a circumstance of being loyal to the wrong friend or partner. I was the nice guy to a girl I met at a party, and what do you know, I met her parents and she was a great girlfriend. Being closed off because you are afraid of being taken advantage of is valid, but there are people who will like you for your generosity. It is just rare to find people who like you for you. I literally attracted the most attractive girl I had ever seen simply because I was easygoing, not because I was a seducer. Story 67. It's something people say out of frustration when they don't get what they want. A man wants something, another man gets it, and the first man says, "Nice guys finish last." What it means is that they feel entitled to whatever it was they wanted, even though they did the bare minimum. If the only positive thing you have to say about yourself is that you're nice, you're probably unpleasant. That said, I remember saying that as a teenager and in my early 20s, and believing it was true. For the record, I definitely was unpleasant. I usually said it in the context of women I had a crush on who weren't interested in me, and then ended up dating some other man who I felt had less to offer. I wasn't anything special, but I would see some amazing woman dating a man who I knew for a fact was unintelligent or who treated women poorly, and I would think, why would she date him? He's unpleasant, and I'm a nice guy. The truth was we were both unpleasant, just in different ways. The truth was she was attracted to him and not to me, probably for a variety of reasons. Not every woman is going to be interested in every man. I did have long dry spells that were really frustrating in my late teens and early 20s, but I also had a lot of luck with women at other times in my life. Being rejected is difficult. Being interested in someone who chooses someone else is difficult, but the whole nice guys thing is a mental trap. The worst part is really falling into the trap and becoming bitter. You convince yourself that it's women's fault that you were single, and not your fault for being bitter. I'm really glad I didn't stay in that mindset because I actually enjoy being kind, helpful, friendly, and positive. I went through a phase where I really had convinced myself that the only way to get a woman was to act negatively because I saw so many negative people getting great partners. I got out of that mindset and did start attracting partners again after a while, and luckily I was able to attract them without having to pretend to be unpleasant. Story 68. As someone who thought this way initially, you are, in essence, trying too hard. First, women, much like men, are not a monolith of a specific type. They deal with different challenges than men do. You are also thinking too logically. There is no pre-oath to follow to attract anyone because it is not something most people consciously control. If you want to have some steps, 1. People are attracted to effort and positivity. Do what you say you are going to do and mean what you say. Learn emotional intelligence. On the physical side, get physically fit. You do not have to be a huge muscular person. You just have to take care of yourself. Maintain good hygiene. Wash regularly. Brush your teeth. And find a scent or cologne. Understand social norms and customs. Put effort into what you are doing, like wearing appropriate clothing for an event. Put effort into yourself. Make yourself interesting and someone others would want to date. Story 69. The nice guys finish last idea is incorrect. My husband is the kindest person I know and has a successful career, great friends, and serious confidence. There is a huge difference between being genuinely kind and being a doormat who calls themselves nice while secretly resenting everyone. Story 70. Nice guys are never actually nice. They just think women owe them sex if they are nice to them, then get mad and show their true colors when it does not work like that. Story 71. No, it is a phrase used by losers to justify not getting girls. Getting girls is simple. You just need to work out, have good social skills, be a nice person, and have some goals you are working towards. You do not even need all of them, but social skills are the most important. It is also important not to be boring, both in conversation and in how you approach life. Nice guys are often boring. I look all right, I work out. And girls generally like talking to me initially, but I lack the social skills to go further than friends. I am also somewhat boring, not so much in my approach to life, but conversationally, talking to me is just not interesting unless we already know a lot about each other. I am also not great at discerning when a girl is into me versus just friendly, though that has improved over time. When in doubt, I usually err on the side of caution and assume she is just friendly. Usually, I realize a girl was into me some time later. But I can always work on my social skills. And at the end of the day, nobody is holding me back from finding a nice girl except myself. So I am not complaining. Story 72. Self-proclaimed nice guys are always unpleasant people. They are never really kind, just cowards, and they want to be rewarded for it. Story 73. There is being nice and being a doormat, which are very different things. Also, many men who refer to themselves as nice guys and complain about women putting them in the friend zone are actually the opposite of nice. They are cruel and manipulative people pretending to be friends with a woman, expecting that if they are kind enough, they are entitled to sex. Once they get rejected, they become immediately angry. I particularly notice those who call themselves nice guys and then insult the woman in the same sentence. Do not put women in the friend zone. You will be better off for it. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.